In computer security, a hacker is someone who focuses on security mechanisms of computer and network systems. There are communities and shared cultures of expert programmers and networking wizards that traces its history back through decades to first time sharing mini computers and the earliest ARPANET experiments. The members of this culture were first hackers, breaking into computers and phone systems have come to symbolize hacking in popular culture. But this culture is much more complicated and moralistic than most people know. In this video, I will be speaking about how to become a hacker, learn basic hacking techniques, how to think like a hacker, and how to gain respect within the ethical hacking community. So, people, welcome to Badass Cult. Here we speak about tough and uncompromising things. Part 1, Learning Fundamentals. To learn fundamentals, you have to do three things. Number 1, run a Unix-like OS such as Linux. Unix and Unix-like operating systems are the operating systems of the internet. While you can learn to use the internet without knowing Unix, you can't be able to be an internet hacker without understanding Unix. For this reason, the hacker culture today is pretty strongly Unix centered. There are many types of Unix-like operating systems, the most popular being Linux, which you can run alongside Microsoft Windows on the same machine. Download Linux online or find a local Linux user group to help you with the installation. Number 2, learn to write HTML. If you don't know how to program, learning basic hypertext markup language HTML and gradually building proficiency is essential. What you see when you look at a website of pictures, images and design components is all coded using HTML. For a project, set out to learn how to make a basic home page and work your way up from there. Number 3, learn the language of programming. Before you start writing poems, you have to learn the basic grammar. Before you break the rules, you have to learn the rules. But if your ultimate goal is to become a hacker, you are going to need more than basic English to write your masterpiece. Python is a good language to start off with because it is cleanly designed, well documented and relatively kind to beginners. Despite being a good first language, it is not just a toy, it is compelling, flexible and well suited for large projects. If you get into serious programming, you will have to learn Java is an alternative, but its value as a first programming language has been currently questioned in its particular state. Unlike Java, JavaScript is very similar to Python as they are both a C-based languages and extremely new user friendly. JavaScript is the programming language of the web. If you'd like to continue learning in hacking, JavaScript is better to learn than Python. Part 2, Adopting hacking attitudes. To adopt hacking attitudes, you need basically 4 things. Number 1, think creatively. Now that you have got the basic skills in place, you can start thinking artistically. Hackers are like artists, philosophers and engineers, all rolled up into one. They believe in freedom and mutual responsibility. The world is full of fascinating problems waiting to be solved. Hackers take a special delight in solving problems, sharpening their skills and exercising their intelligence. Hackers have a diversity of interest culturally and intellectually outside of hacking. Work as intensely as you play as intensely as you work. For true hackers, the boundaries between play, work, science and art all tend to disappear or merge into a high-level creative playfulness. Number 2, learn to love solving problems. No problem should ever have to be solved twice. Think of it as a community in which the time of everyone is precious. Hackers believe in sharing information is a moral responsibility. When you solve problems, makes the information public to help everyone solve the same issue. You don't have to believe that you are obligated to give all your creative product away. So the hackers that do are the ones that get the most respect from other hackers. Read older pieces such as Jargon File or Hacker Manifesto by the mentor. They may be out of date regarding technical issues, but the attitude and spirit are just as timely. Number 3, learn to recognize and fight authority. The enemy of the hacker is boredom, drudgery and authoritarian figures who use censorship and secrecy to strangle the freedom of information. Monotonous work keeps the hacker from hacking. Embracing hacking as a way of life is to reject so-called normal concepts of work and properly choosing instead to fight for equality and common knowledge. Number 4. Be competent. So anyone who spends time on Reddit can write up a ridiculous cyberpunk username and pose as a hacker. But the internet is great equalizer and values competence over ego and posture. Spend time working on your craft and not on your image, and you will more quickly gain respect than modeling yourself on the superficial things we think of hacking in popular culture. Hacking well. For this, you have to do 5 things. Number 1. Write open source software. Write programs that other hackers think are fun or useful, and give the program sources away to the whole hacker culture to use. Hackers' most revered demigods are people who have written large capable programs that met a widespread need and given them away so that now everyone uses them. Help test and debug open source software. Any open source author who is thinking will tell you that good beta testers. Beta testers are somebody who knows how to describe symptoms, localize problems well, can tolerate bugs in a quickie release, and are willing to apply a few simple diagnostic routines. Try to find a program under development that you are interested in and be a good beta tester. There is a natural progression from helping test programs to helping debug them to helping modify them. You will learn a lot this way and generate goodwill with people who will help you later on. Number 3. Publish useful information. Another good thing is to collect and filter useful and interesting information into web pages or documents like frequently asked questions, and make those available. Maintainers of major technical frequently asked questions get almost as much respect as open source authors. Number 4. Help to keep the infrastructure working. Volunteers run the hacking culture. There is a lot of necessary but unglamorous work that needs to be done to keep it going. Administering mailing lists, moderating news groups, maintaining a large software archive sites, developing RFCs and other technical standards. People who do this sort of thing will get a lot of respect because everybody knows these jobs are huge time sinks and not as much as playing with the code. Doing them shows dedication. Number 5. Serve the hacker culture itself. It is not something you will be positioned to do until you have been around for a while and become well known for the one of the 4 previous items. The hacker culture doesn't have leaders, exactly, but it does have the culture of heroes and tribal leaders and historians and spokespeople. When you have been in trenches long enough, you may grow into one of these. Hackers distrust blunt ego in their tribal elders, so visibly reaching for this kind of fame is dangerous. Rather than striving for it, you have to position yourself so it drops in your lap, and then be modest and gracious about your status. Now, bonus tips. Some companies pay for hackers to test their security. If you become good enough, this can be your job. Make sure not to get caught, though what you plan to do could be illegal. It is recommended that do not engage in black hat hacking. Never try to do illegal activities that can get you into trouble. Test your skills on websites that you have created. Use your skills for good. Becoming a white hat hacker is good for everyone and much safer than becoming a black hat hacker and risking trouble with the police. Ask a security service if you can test their systems. If you really want to become a hacker, well, being a badass will help you a lot. Badass is somebody who is tough and uncompromising. Hackers are more like badasses. They do tough things uncompromisingly. So guys, if you loved watching this video, a subscribe would be amazing. Like this video and share it with your friends. And don't forget to be a badass. Be a badass.